Hey everyone, welcome back to Smalldown Night in Canada Sunday Edition. I am Ben, as always part of the Sunday crew. For today, my Ryan,
Hmm.
Mark, and Kiwi. How is everyone doing today?
Good. So
Great. How
good.
are you?
Good.
Yeah,
Ryan, how are you doing, my man?
definitely. I'm doing good, Ben. I'm feeling good. I will say that this just like my overall thoughts. The last three matches for the singles tournament were almost as tense as the Star Wars matches. But other than
Were
that,
they?
I'm good. You, Ben, how are you?
I'm doing well. This was an interesting week of matches, really intense. And maybe we should also say, I believe this was the last week of digital matches,
Supposedly.
Yeah.
according to Olaf, right?
We'll
No,
see.
From what I've been hearing,
yeah,
Star Wars still may be digital. From what I've been hearing.
true, true.
Yeah, there
Okay,
are rumors.
Yeah.
all right.
But
So
We had
now,
a couple of promos as well, didn't we? With the Roka and then the Chandra as well.
yeah, I
So,
will skip past the Chandru promo because there was two of them that happened this week. I'm like, I thought this was all gonna like happen at Spectacular, but should we just talk about the promos because they're just like small little portions into the whole part of the matches.
yeah, we might as well.
Let, yeah, let's just get the first one out the way, which is the tease of who is John Roca's opponent going to be in his final ride match. Christian does like this nice little dance with him. He's going like, "Oh, hey, I have these people to bring up to you." There's Scott Mance. Scott Mance, shoot that down. I, fuck. Oh my
He
god.
said himself after that.
Yeah,
He was like,
himself.
"Me."
Christian to himself. I thought he also shouted out Mark Riley, but he did not. It was just
Right.
Mance himself. And then he goes, "Oh, I think it's someone else." And then he just jumps out, and then there's Dan, and we got that look on Roka's face. He's like, "Oh, of course, who else?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Narrative wise, it makes total sense that it would be him.
I mean, yeah, they ended up being together and it makes sense. When one comes in one, and my remembering that, right, Ryan?
What was that?
And one comes on first one to make that.
I think so. Yeah, he was the first one to beat Dan in the season because at first
Right.
Dan was on an unstoppable run, and then he won the championship. He defended against Santa Claus at the first Spectacular, and then Rocco worked his way to challenge him. And yeah, he was the first one to beat Dan. And from there on, we started like it began that run with Dan, like in preseason like early season Schmodown. Dan only lost like three times maybe to Roca, to no actually
Harloff.
twice. No, Roca and Harloff actually before he retired because he wanted to step away.
Yeah, and then he had that bad batch of matches coming back in and stuff like that. But of course, that reveal with the Five Horsemen live. So he had that moment with Roca, winning the belts with Roca. Yeah, I can't think of any, like, if people have been arguing, why Dan and stuff. It was like, who else? Who else
Yeah.
but Dan? Especially if Dan isn't going for the title. If Dan was going for the title, I don't know who they would have put in. Narratively, I can't think of anything that would have made sense.
Personally, to me, I would have liked to have seen Riley because Roca also has this great rivalry with Riley because Riley was the one to take the belt off of Roca, which led to that great triple threat match between them at the Collision for the first Collision.
Yep. But
And
that
this
was
was at the
4
time.
years ago.
Yeah, I understand narratively it doesn't make sense, but Riley was also brought in for the Five Horsemen, and he was the one to bring in Bateman, which led into all four of them being part of the FinStock exchange, which led to that clash and back and forth. Because it also would have been nice too, because as Mark has a tease, because for the first draft, when Gucci was drafting before we got 4th-round Roca, he drafted Ben first, Riley second, then Dan, then Roca. So any of those two could have been a great tease for Roca, honestly, for storyline wise. Or maybe Roca could have teased, you know what? I want to take out the 3 men who were drafted before me,
Yeah.
But let's get into this week. The first match, we have James vs. Griffey. What are your guys' overall thoughts on this match going into it?
Well,
That's
it's tense for
right.
sure.
Got my boy,
Yeah.
Griffey always.
Yep. And I love Bibbs. I think Bibbs is one of my
Mm.
all-time favorites. But you just saw Griffey coming in this year like a complete character already evolved, and such a heater and stuff like that. You like when these two were about to come together and stuff like that, I was expecting some real fireworks, and it was a great match. I wouldn't say it's a fantastic match, but it like by what happens with the outcome, it turned out to be a great match.
What did you think, Jess, going into this match?
I've got Griffey Newms in any match he's in. The guy doesn't miss. Like at the end of the day, he's such a powerhouse. He's got everything. He's got his character work. He's got his knowledge behind him. It's all there.
Yeah, and it's almost scary how good he is at so early of his career. How about you, Ryan? What did you think going into this?
I honestly, and with Griffey News, look, I had no doubt in my mind Griffey was going to make this a challenging match, but I'm always a big believer in upsets and shaking things up, and also veering away from the herd, or at least the community. So I was going for Bibbs to beat Griffey News, and seeing that first round where Griffey and Bibbs were like dropping questions like back and forth. That the third question, Griffey, it was obvious in Griffey's head, he knew it, but when he revealed the answer, he was just a couple words off from the title. But you do see that, to me, I'm like, this is, I was always thinking to myself, like with most rookies who start off hot and fresh, especially with Griffey, who's had that long run, he's had of 5, 6, 7 matches, the fatigue was going to set in sooner or later. And I'm like, is this the moment where the fatigue sets in? But he regroups himself, but he was still able to keep it a very tight game against Bibiani.
It was surprising that Bibiani was dropping the same amount of questions. It's not like Bibiani was blowing him away.
That is true. Yeah, I guess more of the pressure was definitely on Griffey as a rookie. With Bibbs, we were all like, he's been in this position before to where he's familiar with this. But seeing that, I guess maybe with Bibbs as well, he's played like teams matches and then 5 big 2-fig and championship teams matches. I mean, even the fatigue itself will set in.
Yeah, well, that said, the level of questions you can tell in this in the semifinal round just were heads and shoulders above everything else going in as well.
But regarding just seeing the overall observation, though, I mean, after that first round, did anybody have any doubts in their mind that Griffey might actually lose? Like, I mean, look, second round was obviously going to be a different story, but just for the general impression after that first round, was there ever a doubt and was there ever a thought that popped up where everyone was going, is this it? Is this where Griffey's run ends?
Yeah, it's still Bibiani. You know, like, Griffin only answered half the questions right.
Yeah.
So I figured, oh, okay. Well, and then with Bibiani still missing something, I was thinking, you know, you let Bibiani miss a few questions and you still didn't take the lead. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't see a path.
Then round 3 happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, round 3.
Let's get into round 2 first. Who went first? I forget.
Bibiani deferred, so Griffin went first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Griffey went first. He got an opponent's choice, and they gave him Star Trek.
Right.
And
it did kind of make sense because when King Arthur played against Final Exam and they got Wizarding World, we saw Griffey, stumble a little bit on those questions. So it did kind of make sense that maybe some geeky films, Griffey, because of the most likely we've seen with the tournaments. And even when geek slices are thrown into regular matches, the questions are not always as surface level as we always think they will be.
Yeah.
What did you guys think, Snarkat, Chess? Anything? Anything you want to bring up?
Well, also the book on Griffey Newman isn't huge. There isn't a lot that Bibiani could have chosen from. And
that's true.
Bibiani also did a podcast where he went through every single episode of Star Trek ever. So he knows the Star Trek stuff. If Griffin's going to drop something, he's going to pick it up.
Yeah.
So it was as good of a place he could have made, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't he actually miss one?
Yeah,
he
he-
actually missed
he-
one, and then he went down to multiple choice, and then
Yeah.
Bibbs
Yeah,
managed to steal.
I think he called said Romulans for an answer instead of Klingons.
Ah,
Yes.
yes, there we go.
I think it was regarding I can't remember if it was one of the new Star Trek
3, maybe?
Star Trek 3,
Yeah,
yes, Krug, Christopher Lloyd's character. What was his species?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then James went and he got Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this category? That's not discussed this time.
I think it's the correct thing to do, right? Like if you can get something as narrow as an actor, an actress, or a director, I think it for the game wise, it makes sense to take it.
Yes, it does. And we do see Gucci. He doesn't allow Griffin to get a steal. He gets he checks down to multiple choice once, but then afterward he just nails the rest of the slice with a 3-point lead going in there. So you are right. Like Star Trek, it is a broad category, not just in geek, but because there is over like 13 films in there, there was opportunity for some specificity. Well, with Drew Barrymore, she herself also has a big filmography, but there's because he, just like with Griffin, Bibbs also breaks down and studies filmographies and for his podcast. So it looked to me Drew Barrymore was more freshest in his mind.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. He knows the reason why he chooses the categories. He could have spun again and he decided not to.
Yeah.
And then we get to the not dreaded, but the exciting round 3.
Yeah.
What did all you guys think of this round 3?
I'll be honest. I didn't think Bibbs was going to miss his 3-pointer. I was like, potentially maybe his 5, but he'll get his 2 and his 3. So I thought Griffin was in trouble.
Whenever I hear something and I know it automatically, I figure, oh, these guys have it easy. And it never occurs to me that these guys have seen how many thousands of movies and then having to go back and forth and stuff like that. But I remember that, like I remember going to see that movie and just remember saying, nobody.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
The way that question was phrased, though, I mean, yeah, the quote, if people who are so familiar with Dodgeball were like, yeah, we know it. But when you throw in Gary Cole and Justin Long and people who don't know who Gary Cole is, I'm like, oh my God, what movie is this? And then all of a sudden you recognize, and then when it's revealed to you, he's that announcer who says,
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Yes. He's pretty much the straight man to Justin Bateman. And we're like, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Because Justin Long in the 2000s, he was a supporting character in a majority of comedies. So it could have been very easy to forget where he was at.
Unless you know the quote, which people who know the quote will get it instantly. Yeah. If you don't know that exact quote, you're not going to pull it necessarily straight away. Not in that 15 seconds anyway.
I love that movie. It's a funny movie.
I'm glad they stuck with I'm glad they went with the alternate ending instead of the original plan for it. So, the original plan was Global Gym to win.
Yeah.
Oh.
The test audiences didn't like that.
Yeah, they were like, we hate this.
Yeah, and the fact that you have a title called The True Underdog Story, I'm like, what's the point of the underdog story if the bad guys are going to win? I mean, I get it. If it was kind of like a dark comedy, then it would make sense for Global Gym to win. But Dodgeball kind of teetered that line to where it was slapstick and a bit of dark comedy. It was a majority of that. And honestly, the way the film was, I'm like, there's no way you could have Dodgeball ending with Global Gym win, especially with how Ben Stiller treats the whole scenario. I'm going, you gotta be kidding me. It's just, you love it. You like to see him get what's coming to him towards the end.
Can I just say how funny Alan Tudyk is in that movie as Steve the Pirate?
Steve the Pirate.
That's why I love the fact that they win. Like he comes in just regular and he's like, "You're right, I'm not a pirate. I don't know, Steve. You're not a pirate. Who am I gonna share his treasure with?" And his perfect timing where he's just it's so good.
Well, I know what I'm going to watch after this show today.
No.
It's been a minute.
It's fun to revisit, I'll tell you that.
Mhm.
But
No.
the dragging back to Bibbs, yeah, honestly, I too thought he wasn't gonna miss that like you did, Snark. And when he did, we're going, oh, I was just holy shit.
The moment he did that,
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, he's got to hit his 5, otherwise that's it.
Yeah. And you
Him
start
and-
doing the math quick in your head. Okay,
Yeah.
if he gets this and whatever, and Griffey gets his 5, like, okay.
Yeah. And I love how Griffey, he's slightly, well, still in character, goes like, I think we both can agree those are some pretty tough questions.
right before the sudden death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like, I of course, to me, I'm going, oh my God, that 5-pointer. I mean, I'm not that familiar with freaking Spielberg, but the fact that he pulls that out and I'm going, oh, wait, it is Lost World. And I watched that movie before the match. So it's just like, I mean, you do see brilliance of Griffey pop up. And then, of course, let's get into the sudden death. They go 4 questions deep, and then he misses a question, and Griffey wins.
And that's a PJ special, right? Name the year that these 3 movies or the 3 movies in the franchise came out, right?
Deep. Yeah,
Yeah.
The 2019, that was the second question.
I did not think it was 2019 when they brought it up. I'm like, sometime in the early 2000s, right? I had the same idea as Bibbs, and you could tell as soon as they went to announce that someone was winner, he knew it wasn't him. He knew it because he knew that was a total guess.
Yeah.
And I think he was hoping that Griffin's was also a complete guess too.
I guess he forgot about the New Mutants like everybody else, right?
I
Dark
did.
Phoenix actually for me. I was thinking Dark. I realized when I heard that, I was breaking down what year would Fast and Furious collide with X-Men and Hellboy. Then I'm going, wait, there was that new Hellboy film with David Harbour, and then X-Men. New Mutants was 2020 because it got released.
Oh, right.
And then I'm going, yeah, Dark Phoenix was 2019, and then of course, if there was a Fast and Furious in 2019, obviously it was Fast 8. So yeah, 2019, like after the repeat again, I'm going, that's a good one. I'm like, fucking Fast and the Furious. Why can't you just stay out of this? Stay out of this. But all credit to PJ.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good sudden death question.
It was good.
I would say that's I can honestly say it's no better. It's also no better way for Bibbs to finish his singles run, going out in sudden death. Because at least
the semifinals too. So
yeah,
he did what he had to do.
Yeah, because at least. Oh, go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
I mean, going to say, you think he's coming back next year as singles, right?
Well, if Bibbs and Brendan retain their championships, they're on. I believe Coy's automatically going to keep them as a team, so they will definitely be playing in singles. Because, well, so far the rumors is of Christian's whole idea of factions that the manager will retain 1 singles player, 1 teams, 1 IG, and 1 Star Wars player. That's the rumor I'm hearing, and if that is true, you can for a manager you can automatically lock in 3 singles players by just retaining a team and a singles player. So the big question would mainly fall to certain factions like Corruption and at the time, which I thought was Swag, because they had multiple IG players going on. But let's just get into the whole Chandru scenario. That's not happening anymore.
No.
I didn't think it was going to happen I didn't know it was going to happen now. I thought it was going to happen a lot closer to Spectacular, the breakdown of that relationship with this faction.
I mean, Chandru did say in the second one he's still going to show up at Spectacular, but I did like in that first cut scene, Chandru rolls in on that chair and it just falls out. Slapstick.
It's great. It's so great.
I think they missed out on not being able to put Paul against Chandru at Spectacular. Do you think they missed an opportunity here, or do you figure they keep for a pay-per-view going into next season, one of the first pay-per-views, like they did with Ben Bateman? Who did he go up against first or whatever? Was it Roca?
Oh yeah, they were for versus. Yeah, Bateman
right.
and Roca, when Roca was. Honestly, I think that would tease itself into part of a pay-per-view match between the two of them, because Chandru's a good IG player. Paul Yama, I mean, he's definitely one. Next year, if he still wants to be singles and teams, great. If not, I could see him maybe do singles in IG next year.
It's also a great way to push Chandru as a heel, getting Paul Oyama to go into an IG match where he's not going to measure up to Chandru. Or you don't think? Who knows? With the way IG's gone this year, who fucking knows?
And
You
he
know-
really tested Paul's skills, honestly, going up against Chandru. And that's it. That cutscene between the two of them, I liked it.
Yeah,
where-
okay, they're both.
So let me ask you guys a question. There's a pure guess. Where is Sean going to end up next season?
Where would he
Well-
fit? The Stars?
I don't
know. No.
No, that's a good question, honestly, because every manager next season really has to look at their division stack. And so far, I will say with the Stars, there's no chance he's going back to Swag. Stars, the Mercs, and with, let's see, Finstock Exchange, and
He wouldn't
maybe
even
the
really need
Suspects,
a faction,
they do have-
maybe, right?
what?
He might not need a faction going
True.
into next year. It might just be the Chandru show.
Yeah.
That could,
I
yeah, he
mean-
could run
Fair enough.
solo. Because
Yeah.
looking at all the other factions, I think Corruption is good. They're going to stick with Chance for IG. I know Kate is solely behind Saul, so she's going to stick with him.
Mhm.
Of course, with the usual suspects. I mean, if Sam does not retain Amaru, I'm going, come on, that's the golden goose. And of course, with wait, what other faction was I thinking of? Oh yeah, the Dungeon. I mean, they're gonna have a tough choice between Parker and maybe a returning Smets, but that will be that.
Mara's there too, right?
Yes, Mara is there too.
Oh.
Like when it comes to factions, only 4 I was thinking of. And honestly, with no 3 technically, but I don't think the Stars would take him. I mean, Roxy has been pretty openly about wanting to work with Brandon Hanna, and if he wants to return next season, I could see Roxy retaining him.
Well,
What do you think, Kimmy?
there's a reason they're down here. You know,
Well, they're not dead last though, but yeah.
No.
When do you see him, Kimmy? Do you see him anywhere?
I don't know. I feel like he could quite easily break off and do his own thing.
Mhm.
Given
Yeah,
given the type of player that he is, I feel like he'd very much want to run his own things. Especially because it fits in with his whole character of I'm the boss, I'm the one who gets all the big things.
yeah.
Oh,
And Christian
I
Henry,
hate,
there's a
Bean
lot of
sounds
creation.
disappointed.
I hate him as a heel. He does
He's a
nothing
good
wrong.
character. He is a good character, but I
I-
can't stand him.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
without a doubt.
It's like, it's somebody you love to hate because
Yeah, and those guys are needed. He's one of the
Yeah.
most important people in
We
the
need
show.
pure heels. I understand there's gonna be some fans who are gonna be like, they want the cool people like Mike, like Ben, like Chance, like with Roka. But every now and then you need someone like at the time when Brandon Hanna a couple seasons ago, where everyone did not like seeing him on screen, and we're definitely seeing that with Chandru. We need someone to be that lightning rod.
Team
be
Action was the
heel.
same way too.
Yes, true. But we'll find out. We'll find out next year if Chandru's going to ride solo.
Yeah.
But it is a very interesting concept. But speaking of when we briefly talk about the Stars, let's go transition into the next match in the tournament, the second semifinals, which was the Barbarian versus Janine, the Machine. Janine pretty much was the last person from the Stars. If Janine had lost, the Stars were pretty much done for this season. I mean, there's no way in hell they'll catch up in the standings, but Janine was their opportunity to get to the finals. And Barbarian, who has had a pretty much an up and down season, who was finally getting his stride in this tournament, it looked like if he was done, he'd be back like in the saddle, coaching the players. And man, that first round, wow.
Oof. It
Really
was so
like that.
hard to watch.
Yeah.
So hard to watch. Even worse than the Bibiani Newman one because you could see Janine getting in her head as well, and it was horrible to watch.
Even Barbarian too, when he messed
Oh,
up
yeah.
on the 28 days question,
That's
he
the first
was-
question too, right?
I think it was the second one,
Mm.
because then
Yeah,
afterwards
yeah,
Janine was
yeah.
just
Second
missing
one,
question
yeah.
after question, because she ends the first round with only 2 points, even though she was so dangerously close to every other question.
Question: is that one of the lowest like round one scores we've seen in the singles tournament?
In the singles tournament,
I think at the semifinals level, anyways, for sure, right?
yeah. The
Okay.
semifinals, yeah. I don't know about the singles tournament. I would have. It would take a lot of combing through every
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah, no.
tournament.
I was
But for
just
right
wondering
now,
if
this
that's
year,
spectacularly low or not.
yeah. But ultimately, of this year, I would say, yeah, it is
Oh.
one of the lower matches. Because yeah, you were right. Looking at Janine's faces when she missed questions in fantasy sci-fi and directors, and you can see that was just like it wasn't that she was gone. She just knew like she couldn't come back from it. And Barbarian, it was obvious after that 28 days question that he wanted to make sure he got everything down to the letter.
Yeah.
He still ends up getting
Yeah.
5 points, but it's still a 3-point spread lead.
Yeah, well, we talked to Barbarian on Speaking of Schmodown. He said that he definitely felt fatigued during that match because I don't know if many people do know this, but they do get like 72 hours before their match, and it's always on a weekday, so they have to work their schedule out around it. And he came straight from work into it, and he said that it's so hard to like get yourself into that headspace if you don't have a day to prepare for it, and it's 3 days beforehand that you get the call like you need to be ready on this day. He's like, it's just really hard. And he said that he was really kicking himself because he said that he'd recently seen the film as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I just hated that I got that one of all things wrong.
And I can definitely back you up on that one, Jess. I have one of my buddy James Shima, who plays in the first class league. He's once asked me to help him when it came with sending him questions for an IG match. He didn't get until maybe 48 hours before. So I can't remember which match he asked me to help him with. He just told me he did an IG match, and he sent me the categories, and he goes, whenever you can, just send me questions as fast as you could. And I know it was one that he won at, but it was just more of those situations. Yeah, 48, 72 hours, you'll get those slices, and it all just falls down to which category do you want to focus on the most, and which one do you feel confident in that you will get, and just all of that, like having to strategize just for round 2, not knowing what round 3 and round 1 is going to be.
Well, let's get into the round 2. Barbarian deferred to Janine.
Yeah,
She
she did look a lot more composed. I'm not sure what Roxy said to her in that backstage stuff, but whatever Roxy said to her obviously worked, because she came back a lot more grounded and centered than we'd seen her leaving round 1.
And she gets Tyler Perry, and she does a fantastic job with that slice. Only checking down once because of one of the Medea movie because a question from a Medea movie, and I'm like, God damn those Medea films. If it was only just Tyler Perry questions outside of Medea, Janine would have up that round.
Yeah.
She got Spinner's Choice, right? Like I think she got what,
she did.
time or something like that in Fun Again. So she got some wheel luck there, but she knew her as soon as the questions came. She knew them, so that's great.
Yeah,
made it a match.
And then Barbarian.
Well, I don't think she got Spinner's Choice. I remember she landed on crime movies, and
then she got Spinner's Choice after that.
Yeah, because Barbarian. Oh wait, Barbarian was the one who went first, but Barbarian had like a 7-point lead on her after that round. So Janine really was in the headset to where she had to go perfect, or at least close the gap between her and Barbarian into that round, and she definitely did. She wait, Snark, you're right. She did get Spinner's Choice on the second spin.
After she spun away from crime.
Yeah.
Yes. And she picked Tyler Perry because I think technically there were 3 slices I thought Janine could dominate in, but at least regarding this match, Tyler Perry did feel like the slice that she needed to do.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
And then Barbarian went and he got the 2010s.
Yeah, after
he spun away from scores and soundtracks.
Right. He had a couple of bad spins or whatever for him, but
scores and soundtracks would terrify me as a round 2 slice. I gotta be honest. It's such a broad category, and sometimes they pull out the most ridiculous questions.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be usually one of 4 people and stuff too, right? So it's always going to be if you ask for multiple choice, guess which 4 are going to show up.
Yeah, and you're like, cool, that doesn't narrow it down at all. Thank you for that.
Unless
Is it
you get
Hans
those,
Zimmer? Probably.
Unless you get those questions from 60s and 70s films, that definitely gets rid of those 4. But still, you'll still be confused like crazy.
Yeah. So it was a good choice to spin away.
Yeah. And then 2010s, you'd figure, oh, it should be movies that you think you've seen or whatever. At least maybe you can pull from trailers and stuff like that. As long as it isn't too deep, it won't matter if you've seen the movie or not.
Yeah, I believe there was a steal opportunity for Janine because Barbarian missed one.
Yeah, it was who directed Never Let Me Go.
Yeah.
Yes. Or Never Let Me Go, or is it Don't Let Go? I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah, I just have Let Me Go at the bottom, so I'm like, is it Never? I didn't write the full thing. It's shorthand. It's all shorthand.
You could ask me that question and give me a million years to answer it, and just making up names, I would never have got it. It wouldn't have mattered if they gave me multiple choice.
No, yeah, because he checked down.
You were right. It was Never Let Me Go.
Okay, cool. Because I just wrote Let Me Go, and I'm like, I assume it's never. But yeah, so and then he checked down. He didn't get it. She got tossed to Janine, and she didn't get it either. So,
and honestly, that still could have been a difference maker. I mean. Sure, in round 3, she still needed to get her last 2 questions, but that could have definitely put more of the pressure on Barbarian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we leave that second round, they are tied, dead even, 9-9.
Yeah, because he checked down on his last 2, didn't he, as well?
Yes, he did. Yeah. And also, on the look on his face, those were also other questions he also was aware of that he knew. Like the Black Klansman question, he kind of knew the first name of the actor. He just couldn't remember the last name. So when he got Corey Hawkins, I'm going, oh, because obviously I was going for Janine in this match. So I'm like, please, just check down. Part of me was still going for Barbarian. I'm like, I want this to be a great match, but let Janine close this gap. And yeah, he checks down those last 2, and I'm like, thank God. I will be honest, though, that Jason Momoa question threw me off. Like a motherfucker. Because I'm thinking, wait, there's only one film I know he was in the 2010s as a warrior, and that was the remake of Conan Barbarian. But the way they phrased it, I was like, Barbarian. Like, I know it, but I too would have needed multiple choice to get it.
I got it. I knew which one they were talking about. I know it was Conan, but I had the same problem with him. Is it the Conan the Barbarian, or did they change it to one of the other things? Like Conan... like King Conan, Conan the Destroyer, Conan the Conqueror, all those.
Yeah, or was it just called Conan?
Conan the Barbarian.
That's the biggest issue with remakes that I think I remember.
There was more bigger issues with that remake.
Yeah, I think I remember, Ben. We were talking with Dustin on like one of our stream. So many other guys. We were talking about the issues with remakes on how. Oh no, never mind. This was a different. I did this on a podcast. I'm sorry. This had nothing to do with our show. I just did a podcast where we were talking about movies in general. One of them brought up one of them made a rant about movie studios not being having no creativity when it comes to remaking something. Like with the most recent horror remakes, like the Halloween franchise. There are 3 different remakes of Halloween titled Halloween. There are there's 4, maybe 3 different Texas Chainsaw remakes called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and of course with Candyman. Which are meant to be spiritual sequels, they're just titled Candyman, and you're going anything different, anything new, guys. Come on, at least with Star Trek,
it's not that hard to come up with the title. Like, come on.
At least
like, if you can't even come up with a good title, how good is your actual movie gonna be? Like, it's not that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love geek films, because you don't have to do the same title when you reboot a franchise. That's why I love with Batman. We're like, okay, reboot of Batman. Batman Begins, reboot of Superman, Man of Steel, reboot of the X-Men franchise, X-Men First Class. That's why whenever I see directors make these comments on superhero films, at least there's some creativity with titles compared to the shit you guys do.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on those directors. Don't get me started.
I mean, regarding one specific director, but you know.
I think I know who you mean, and I'm not. I have words, but I'm not going to get into it right now.
No worries. Yeah, it was just regarding just it was mainly just like my little nugget regarding Barbarian's 4th question in that second round. And so, yes, it was still tied, but in that 3rd round, it was like it looked like personally to me it was going to be a sudden death. But then
I thought so.
Yeah, but when Janine missed that 3-point question, Oh god, that
Well,
killed me.
did you guys realize something about the Machine's categories?
All decades. All of them were
Yeah.
Oh
decades.
Yeah.
yeah, 90s, like
Lincoln
descending,
is-
right? 90s, 80s,
Yeah,
70s.
yeah.
Yeah.
I found that
All
really
decades
interesting.
and surrounding directors who are not as well, they're renowned, but just not as beloved as they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that Heartbreak Ridge question, I'm like, oh, I fucking know that because
Mm.
my dad owns a VHS copy of Heartbreak Ridge. He used to watch it every late night, so there's no chance in hell I would not miss that. But
Well, my
man,
brother's in the army, so he always has he has all kinds of army movies and stuff like that. But
Mm.
I remember when that movie came out because I remember the commercials because I'm so goddamn old. And then I've seen that movie. You go over to his house or whatever, he just has it on every once in a while. It's good. I'm surprised she didn't get it just because
Yeah,
of
I was.
the actor and director. There was only so many.
but at the same time, Clint Eastwood has written, acted, and directed a lot of films. He starred in them himself, so I think maybe he's done maybe 3 in the 80s. So it is difficult to mix those up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, they said Heartbreak Ridge though, right?
Yeah.
It's not the question. Like who?
Yeah, it was who
acted
was it?
in Heartbreak Ridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who wrote, starred in, and directed
Yeah.
Heartbreak Ridge.
Who am I going to criticize or whatever? I would have gotten 8 questions right between the two of them, the entire
Yeah.
fucking game. And these guys are, in the semifinals of the tournament. So,
It was only-
what the
only
hell do
3
I know?
days of
I'm also
prep
sitting at
time.
home drinking and watching this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, with only
It's
3
all
days of
super
prep time on their
relative.
hands. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No. I'm just saying it's super relative, and it is almost a game of chance because what I know is going to differ greatly from what all of you three know, just from how we're raised, what we get exposed to. That for me, some questions might be super obvious, and I'm like, come on, it's of course that. And then someone who's had completely different experiences are going to go, I don't know that. I don't know that. And it is really just what happens on the day of.
That is true because we've heard so many of them talk on after shows or on their own content on their own shows where they say, I just knew it, just my brain wasn't bringing it up, wasn't just even right now when we do our stuff, when we think of a movie we want to relate to in our argument, it takes us like maybe we keep doing this like, oh,
you're like come on, I've got it. It's at the back of my.
So most of us in the community, I understand when we, after a match is done and those master posts are put up where people can talk spoilers, some want to let their emotions out. But ultimately, we have to remember, we cannot judge them for how they played in the match because can we honestly say in their shoes with not knowing? I mean, we're reading the titles as they pop up while they're actually hearing this stuff. We always got to remember they're on a different level in a different world than we are. And we can never judge them on their characters and their caliber as a player, even though many people think they have the luxury and the right, and I'm doing this in quotes, the right to do so. But that fucking 5-pointer in 70s, man. God damn it.
Yeah.
What was it?
I had no idea. No idea.
This is the one time where her going 369 really betrayed her.
Oh, that was the Chinatown question, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes,
and
it
she
was.
assault on Precinct 13. She took both of her last JTEs, and I was like, I don't think she's got it. I don't think she's going to pull it.
In a million years. I was going back to like the French Connection 2 or something like that. There was no way I was going to go to Chinatown.
There was nothing relating to me.
I was thinking Serpico or French Connection myself. I've never seen Chinatown, and the only character I know is just Jake, which is played by Jack Nicholson. And that's about
the only reason I know his name is Jake because of the sequel was the 2 Jakes, and they made a huge deal out of it. And it's like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
Like, I know the first one. I think Faye Dunaway's in it.
She's in the first one. No, she's in the first one.
Yeah.
I just know that because I've listened to so many video essays and breakdowns of when they talk about movies. Because one video I came across pretty much broke down every twist and turn of Chinatown. I'm going, okay, so this is what the story is. Even though whoever the director who's attached to it is very problematic. Well, I won't say problematic, but 100% piece of shit. Makes it difficult to actually want to watch that film, especially what it's about. But beyond that, She misses the 5-pointer. Barbarian wins. Gucci rips off his shirt in celebration in the post interviews.
He's an idiot. I'm sorry. Gucci is an idiot. I don't like him. I'm sorry. He's an idiot.
He's pretty polarizing from what I've noticed.
Yeah, he is.
I believe it was
Yeah.
polarizing the first day he showed up in the Schmoes No studio. He
Yeah,
has never
yeah,
been up
right.
ever since.
From some of the stories they said about Knapsack wanting nothing to do with him there and stuff like that too. But again, people like that is what makes the Schmoedown work. You're not supposed to like everybody. You have to have somebody to root against. It shouldn't be all holding hands and singing Shambhala and stuff. You have to root against people. There has to be people that you can say, fuck you. And that's what gets people to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we all want to believe that we want to cheer for everyone to win, but you are right, Snark. We need that other side of the coin. We need those people who can really bring those emotions out of us to where you cocky son of a bitch. I'm sick and tired of seeing you win. I want you to lose. Mike was great at it. Roka was great at it. Guy and Bateman are fantastic at it. Yep. Even Lon Harris, when he was a professor, got you to go, stop being a condescending jerk and lose, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it was best when he was picking on people like Cody and stuff like that. People had no business playing.
Which is ironic because Cody gets a perfect round going against him, which was funny.
Sorry, that's my dog.
No worries. I got dogs like 7 houses down who bark so loud I literally can hear them, which sometimes they get caught on the streams when I'm on. So it's good. It's cool.
Yeah, my dog is on vacation this week. I miss her. Let's get into this final match, should we?
Yes. And good God, we talk about one hell. Like, talk about the winds of change or just the change of fortune in the match. New Finstock final. We get like last year with the Intergeekdom tournament. We have 2 members of faction at the finals. Is both the Finstock Exchange and how much. And before we get into the match, I do want to bring up, as much of a polarizing figure as Gucci is, the plan that the Finstock Exchange had enacted in season at the top of the season, drafting all those rookies into fruition. It's like planting a seed in a garden that everyone tells you is not going to bloom right away, but with patience, care, and time, sooner or later you're going to see it start to bloom. You're going to see it sprout, and then months down the road it's going to bloom. That's what the dossier was.
Yeah.
To enact. Everybody, most of the community, and I will even say myself, well, I questioned the notion. I never laughed at it, but most community was making jokes at Gucci, going, why are you picking all these nobodies? Get some talent, get some faces in there. What do we see happen? Almost every rookie in the Finstock Exchange TKO somebody. We get Griffey Nooms coming in, strong character, great performance, really winning everybody over. JTE pulls out miracle upsets against Goddard and Paul Preston. Roka and JTE as Rushmore throughout that first tournament put out some incredible matches. And then, of course, with Moose Haas, him being one of the only Intergeekdom player of the Finstock Exchange getting them points.
Right.
Gold leader, Jesus Christ, coming in with
2 finals.
Yes, 2 finals. That shiny jacket blinding everybody's eyes.
And the grin the whole time is
Yeah. Yep.
That fucking grin.
Ty Lieberman, so good. This is a guy that has a long run coming in the Schmoedown. He has it all. He has knowledge. He has the personality. He doesn't take shit. I love it.
Rick Radis, for Christ's sakes. Rick Radis, he come in, he knew exactly what he was playing. That he comes in the attitude of trying to be a Lothario, one of those classic admin who are trying to be swingers, but gives you the vibe of an old creepy dude in his 50s thinking he can still swing like he's in his 20s. But
he drafted guys with knowledge and with character built in that right out the gate they're going to be great schmodown players. You're going to want to watch them. You're going to want to watch them lose, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to watch them. And that they're good enough to beat people means you're going to give them another match. You're going to give them another match. And it shows in the record. They've played so many matches because they're so good. You want to watch it.
And they have never, and I will say throughout the entire run, they have never dropped below the 5th position. They've always been in the middle. 3, 5, 4, and 3. Maybe they only got 6 once, but that was because they never got the championships. But other than that, they have never ever touched the bottom of the rankings. They've always ranged in the middle, and these tournaments really got them points like a motherfucker. Moose TKOing Chance, jumping them up. Gold leader in that second tournament, just knocking down opponents. King Arthur making upset after upset after upset. And now we do see here with Griffey Nooms, even with Barbarian on their sides of the bracket. And Rick Radis, sure, he's not in the tournament, but he is so far the one rookie who's going to end his season undefeated to next year.
Well, maybe.
Well,
Well,
one
yeah.
of the rookies. I mean,
one other one.
Yeah. He'll be one of the rookies in singles to end, depending on what's going to happen at the Spectacular. He could be one of the few rookies in singles to end undefeated. And honestly, I feel he's guaranteed to be back next year.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Either part of a faction or undefeated, or as a lone player.
One of the only rookies you want. Well, I don't want to say one of the only rookies, but a rookie you for sure want to see back, and for sure want to see play live in studio, live at a pay-per-view. You know, he has some great promos, but he's the kind of guy that can draw a heat. All he has to do is walk to the ring, and he's going to draw heat.
Yeah.
I will say, I was there at Scamanville in his match against Frankie. I was there in the crowd where he was just throwing out snacks to everybody, where he's just eating up the booze. Just people are booing him, and he's just out there bare-chested, throwing out snacks, and everyone giving zero fucks. So
perfect.
That is definitely somebody Christian can't ignore bringing back next season.
And I'm not like a huge heel guy. I'm not a heel fan. It's like I don't cheer for all heels. I do cheer for heels, though. Yeah. But like face, I always figure face is just so much easier than a heel. Or actually, no. Actually, I find that face it's a much more difficult job than a heel. It's easy to draw heat. It's harder for people just to like you for who you are. That's why it's so many faces used to be heels or whatever. So they know how to draw heat or whatever.
Yeah.
But but what the Finstock Exchange did this year was getting so many guys that you can put on camera and be a prick, and people love them for it. It is commendable because that they had so much knowledge in them as well. Ty Lieberman took out McWeeny and stuff like that this year. There's people that know their shit over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to quote I'm paraphrasing a proverb that I used to hang above my grandpa's kitchen. Like, it is easy to hate someone, but it is much harder to make them love you.
Right.
I'm paraphrasing it. And it just goes to show one of the dynamics. And as a wrestling fan, I definitely understand it's very easy to have somebody draw in hate and heat just for them to boo you. But it's much more difficult as a heel to expertly do it to where it doesn't look like you're desperate to get people to hate you.
Yeah.
But I will say this: it looks more fun to be a heel than a face.
100%.
Unless if you like Pimps, who just feeds on all the love he gets. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But I think before we continue dragging on, let's talk about this match. 5 rounds, guys. This match really was. This was another match where I thought Griffey was going to lose again.
Yeah. Don't listen to this.
Well, Fairs, you just made my point. You just made my point.
Who is this guy?
Did you have Griffey then going into this, or did you want, because of the fact that Janine got pulled out of the competition by Barbarian? Or I'm curious because you had Janine obviously throughout this.
You are right. This was one of the more difficult choices to make. One, I wanted to go with Griffey because the impressive run he's been on, but at the same time, Barbarian, I wanted him to end his sophomore season, like trying to break that sophomore curse amongst rookies to where he can have a great one. But even then, behind the scenes of coaching and recruiting as part of the dossier, I think his season has been a success.
Oh yeah,
It was just never shown in the matches. But I guess when it came down to it, it wasn't that I was finally buying into the run of Griffey. I'm going, you know what? If I want to see history made, let's have Griffey make history.
Yeah.
So I went with it.
I'll be honest. I'll be
I
honest.
got another one.
I'll be honest. After Griffey beat Bibbs, I am all in on Griffey. He is really that good, and I can't wait to see him when he does next season.
Yeah.
So let's break down this match. Round 1 was great. Any thoughts on round 1? From any of you guys?
Man, that round 1 though.
well, it's another case of Griffey didn't look great again, right?
Yeah,
He's had
Barbarian
two in a row now.
Barbarian
where
was
he
perfect
was-
in that round.
Yeah,
But
He
go
just
ahead, I'm
missed his
interrupting you.
bonus.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, but-
interrupting you guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Griffey only looks like he missed one, is that right?
Yep,
And
missed his second.
You know what? That's still really good, but
Yeah.
missing one could mean a lot.
Compared with the last
So-
two round ones we've had in previous matches, I think
Right,
getting only one
yeah.
wrong is pretty impressive.
It also shows you how hard these questions are going further and further into this tournament.
Especially when
Yeah,
you
talk about that round 2. Who went first? I forgot the mark who
I
went
believe
first.
Barbarian
it
went
was
first.
Yeah, Barbarian who went
Yeah.
first.
Okay, he went first and he got 2010s again.
Yeah, he got Lucasfilm first, and then he
Oh.
spun again, got 2010s.
Because
Right.
he did mention that Griffey is part of a podcast or a show about Lucas. So
So he was like, "I'm not giving him the opportunity for any of them steals."
yeah, that's smart.
and
Yeah.
which was a smart choice because I believe he kills every slice. He sweeps it all. I mean, he checks down.
No, he got his
No,
he
he
got his
missed
third
it.
wrong.
Oh, wait a minute. Which one was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because I remember Griffey saying it's neither rain nor snow.
Oh,
Lucy Hale, right?
yeah, Blumhouse production of Fantasy Island. Yeah, who starred as the lead? Yeah, Lucy
It's
Hale.
Lucy Hale.
Yeah.
He picked Joey King, and yeah, but Griffey didn't get it either, did he?
No, he got it.
Oh, he
That's why he
did?
did the whole neither snow nor rain.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
And the fun fact about those multiple choice, all 4 of those actresses during the 2010s were in horror films.
Yeah.
Tessa Farmiga, The Nun, Joey King was in, I forget what the horror film was, Wish Upon. Yeah, and then I think Chloe Grace Moretz, I think they were going with the remake of Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Carrie. Or maybe the remake of Carrie. I can't remember which
She
year.
did quite a few of them, to be honest.
I know I got 0, right? None.
Yeah.
None. No idea.
I just remember the Lucy Hale one because I came across someone doing a review of the Fantasy Island Blumhouse, and they felt that it was one of the most ridiculous origin stories of the TV show. Like it was meant to be a horror like origin of the island before you get the
Where you
kooky.
get Tattoo and Mr. Rourke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
a
like-
show I grew up with and watched when it first came out because I'm so fucking old now.
They even remade the TV. They rebooted the TV show early on. It was on Hulu. It starred Rosalind Sanchez. If anyone remembers her from Rush Hour 2.
Yeah. Didn't they also have one with the guy from Clockwork Orange as well? When I can't remember.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah,
Or-
I think they may have had one with
Oh,
him. as well.
really?
Yeah, I
Huh.
think so.
That's interesting.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look.
Didn't Barbarian also check down for his fourth question as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he
yeah.
did. He only had 13 points at the end of that round.
And then Griffey got what did he get? He got Eddie
Hitchcock,
Murphy.
then
Oh.
then Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
See,
Which
I was
I thought
excited
he was
about
gonna-
the Eddie Murphy questions.
I was surprised on the Eddie Murphy questions he got.
Yeah.
I really thought that he was going to nail every single one of those questions.
The Shrek one got me. The Shrek one, I was so surprised about the layers question, the quote with all the layers, and Cake's got layers. I'm like, it's Shrek. Everyone knows the Shrek quote about onions and layers and all that kind of stuff. Nope.
Not everyone.
I guess because it was obviously to us it was.
He guessed Shrek. He did guess Shrek, but he guessed Shrek. It's one of the other
Shrek the Third or something like that. I think.
There we go.
Snark, I found it. Yeah, there is a fantasy island that starred Malcolm McDowell.
There we go.
It was only for one season on ABC.
Yeah.
In 1998.
I remember when Hervé Villechaize left. I think Jonathan Winters took his spot, and it wasn't even the same after that. And that still had Ricardo Montalban.
Yes.
I think it was just you needed to have the two of them together to make the show worth watching.
Yeah, it is. But going back into Eddie Murphy, I was also surprised he missed the Trading Places question.
Yeah.
100%.
That one got me.
Yeah.
I see.
Because he got it wrong, and then I think Barbarian missed steal.
I think he got the steal because he was ahead by 3 points at the end of that round.
Right. Yeah, that's another one of those where growing up I'd seen Trading Places a million times, right? And as soon as they said, I know who that.
Another classic Christmas movie as well.
Mhm.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start the debate. I'm not gonna start it.
Yeah.
You mind?
It's like I always say, Christmas
yeah.
movies are like pornography. You know it when you see it. If you have to debate if something's a Christmas movie or not, it's probably not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but I will shelve that. I'm sorry, guys. It was just a nice little jest to make. But
Yeah.
it was a 2-point steal because Barbarian gets it to 15, and at the end of the round he is they both missed it actually because Barbarian did get a 2-point steal off of him. It was the Shrek quote. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They both missed it, which okay, that surprised me. Okay, you were right. He did miss that, Jess.
Yeah, as soon as Griffey missed, I was like, Barbarian's got this. Okay, like he's got to have it, and then he didn't, and I was like, okay, this is odd. And you could tell that Griffey was worried because he only bet 1 point in the next round. I'm like, you got to be worried about your points if you're betting 1 point rather than trying to get a few more points on your board.
And it was a smart play too because he just didn't know exactly what that Hitchcock question was going to be.
Hitchcock. It could be anything. It could be anything.
You are exactly right. Especially from the Marisol and Irwin match when they got Hitchcock, they both bet 3 points. Irwin missed it and Marisol got it, changing the flow of that match.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 6-point difference as well, so that's massive. So I don't think Griffey wanted to get himself in that position of where he could have that. Like at most, it could be a 4-point difference because if he misses it, Barbarian gets his 3, then it's only 4 points as opposed to getting a 6.
Yeah, and especially being that far behind. Look, we're going to talk about that speed round, but even then, just looking at the 5-point differential from that. Any other opportunity, this would have been almost a game, like a nail, like half the nail in Griffey Noom's coffin. But just like in that King Arthur and press room match, that speed round, holy shit, once again deciding things. I mean, Ben, we talked with Barbara Parker yesterday and how he's not a fan of that fast money. And I've also said that fast money should not be relied on moving
So you prefer
forward.
a buzzer?
Yeah. And I
like fast money just for the fact that you get to see how both competitors whether they know the same things. I like it for that aspect as opposed to it being the first person to hit the buzzer. I like that it tests them both under that pressure cooker situation.
And for a knowledge game, fast money does work. It was just that with fast money, especially if you were off, like we saw with Barbarians round.
Oh,
that was
just
like,
so hard to watch.
And I like,
but it got even worse. It got worse when they read it back to him, and they were like, "Actually, you didn't get it wrong. The other 2, because he got 3 technically, and then he got 2 of them taken away from him."
Yes, I was pissed off. I'm like, why don't you guys just fucking give him Sally Fields? I mean,
isn't the what is it the the doubt or whatever. There's like the shadow of the doubt or whatever.
Benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Benefit of the doubt. When like, is there another actress named Sally Fields that we don't
I
know?
don't think so.
But then I know this community would have gone up in arms, like, "Oh my god, why did he get it?" And this whole
Because you got to
entire
think
year-
about the kids. He got done for the Muppets versus the Muppet movie. You know, only a couple of matches ago. So if you're going to penalize him for an S when there shouldn't have been, you can't really give it to Barbarian for adding an S when there shouldn't have been. The problem is, they have to have a flat rule or no rules. It's
Yeah,
Right.
this
Yep,
is
you're
where
right.
this is where my emotions did get the best of me, to where that I do forget about the benefit of the doubt rule, because I've had my issues with that stupid benefit of the doubt rule in the past, and how managers have used that to challenge questions that, honestly, in my personal opinion, did not need to be challenged. But they had to make a stance on it, and I support them on that stance. I'm just like, can you just play it off as a lapse of judgment?
just give him this one, because it was really hard seeing Griffey hit a lot of those questions, and then Barbarian just pass.
And also the way these were, like, I won't say they were wordy questions, but I swear to God, I didn't even pay attention to the timer. I was just hearing how Mark was just reading these questions normally, and then all of a sudden, after that fifth question, I'm looking in the corner like, "Talk faster, man! Talk faster!"
Yeah, that is a problem as well. Is when you've got really long questions, you've got to listen to the question, then think about it, then answer, and then move on as quickly as possible.
It is, and it's once again just a it's a 50-50 and a double-edged sword with that fast money. And I'm actually, as much as it hurt to watch that, a part of me is glad now. So whenever I see people in that community want to talk about why fast money is better, I can give them. We have plenty of examples on why fast money should not be used in live shows or in studio matches.
Yeah.
And even then,
But
it's a different beast when you do it when you do fast money in studio, because
Yeah.
it's not like the family.
You'd have to give them the same questions, right?
Not
So
just that.
it can become a buzz around anyways.
What's up, Allison? How you doing? But it's not just that.
Allison was probably very happy with this, because as we know, she's like myself, is a very big Griffey shill.
Oh,
yep.
look, I said before, I was nothing against Griffey Nooms. I just had the feeling that because the end of the season was coming, he could have either gotten fatigued, or like what she just commented with Barbarian, he could have imploded.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're at the end of the year. When you played from the start of the year all the way to the end, even though the Schmodown,
It's gotta be rough.
Yeah, you play it like it's like a 100-meter dash, but in reality, the Schmodown is a marathon.
Yes, Allison, I fully agree.
But yeah,
Yeah, I did think before that fast money round, I did think he was in trouble. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to deal with the heartbreak of Griffey being out of this singles tournament. Fully preparing to start grieving.
Yeah. But when they read back to Barbarian, the points he got, only just getting one damn point, but Griffey getting
it was so heartbreaking. It really hurt.
A nightmare.
7. He got
scenario.
7. Oh,
7, yep.
just seeing that, I was.
So he goes from being 5 points behind to being a point in front. It's insane.
And even seeing the Barbarian, you see on his face, he's just defeated, but not too much.
He just sits back in his chair and he's not even. He's done. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
No, but he still answers his 2 and 3-pointer to at least put some pressure on Griffey.
Yeah.
But Griffey comes back and he wins the match, right?
Yes, he does. Barbarian
Yes,
misses
he does.
5-pointer.
There's a pigeon lady in Home Alone too.
Yeah.
My God. God.
Who knows that off the top of their head? Like, come on.
I believe he doesn't even have a name in the movie, right?
Well, no, but who was the actress who played her? And Barbarian, he did say he did know who the actress was. He just wasn't able to pull it.
No.
And it was just like those situations where, the fatigue kind of does
What's
set
the
in.
answer? I don't even remember if they said who the answer was or not.
They did. I think it was during when the music was playing with Griffey celebrating.
Right.
I can't remember off the top. I would need to look up Home Alone.
Yeah, that's another
I
movie
fully
that came
agree.
out.
If not
I was,
both. If not both,
in my
Allison.
teens, but
Well,
I don't remember anything about it.
I'm not. I'm a big supporter of Marisol, her being one of the first women. I am of the I'm majority 55 over that Marisol will retain. With Shazam, it's back and forth because they've been on a roll, but every time they've been spectacular, they've always fallen short. Thank you,
Thank
Adelia.
you.
Thank you. We're the trigger.
Thank you.
No idea who that is.
Yeah. If I got asked that, I'd just be like, I don't know. Just call it. Call the match now. I'm not going to
Yeah.
call that in any function.
Yeah.
Just give him the title. That's fine. Just let him go. Let him win.
But I do recognize her. I have seen her in other movies other than Home Alone. And
Do I know her name? No.
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 I'm looking up her filmography. She has been in films I've seen. She's been in So I Married an Axe Murderer and Angels in the Outfield.
I know.
Oh yeah, she was the
She was the foster mother. The foster mother. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
I love that movie. I'm like, well, that's the end of the match. Do you guys want to go through predictions of the spectacular, or do you just want to call it? Up to you guys.
Sure.
I know what mine are. Mine is just anything Griffey is in, he's going to take. So
Well, let's go through this real quick. Dan versus Roca. Who do you have?
Merle.
I've got Merle.
Unless Roca's Patreon has been training his ass off, I'm going with Merle. Because
Merle wants it as well. He
Ben.
wants to have something to show for it.
Yeah.
I have. Okay, Roca.
Okay. Anything can happen.
Roca.
Anything can happen. I 100% believe that. But on the odds, I'm saying if it's a 70, I'm saying 70-30, it's Merle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're probably right, but if Roca's last match, I'll say Roca.
Is anyone else curious why Roca wanted Dan to enter first? I'm really interested to know what he's got. He's got something planned. And I really can't wait to see what it is, because he was like, okay, because he was like, you have to come in first. I'm like, why are you giving Dan some ammunition to be like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to come in first? Like,
unless he enters the Globe Theater on a horse, I don't see why he.
That'd be cool.
Oh god, no, I got it.
if he does, that'd be the most incredible moment.
Yeah.
He pulls some outlaw cowboy shit and just comes in with a horse, freaking out every people in the audience and those backstage. Like, why did you bring a horse?
The horse
I mean, it's
gets
Roca.
spooked. The horse gets spooked, just starts trampling people.
Or it's taking a
just
horse
bolts
crashing
with him
on
on
its
it.
way to the stage. Oh, jeez.
Okay. Shazam versus King Arthur. Who do we have in the...
Ben, who do you have?
I'll say Shazam. Only because I'm not going to doubt Babs and the kid.
Fair enough.
This one, I'm taking King Arthur.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think Griffey and King Kong together have been pretty goddamn sharp. That's not absolutely not saying anything against Shazam, who I think are incredible. I just think that they're in a real good spot here, and I think that if there's lightning in a bottle, they're gonna capture it today or on the 4th.
Yeah.
Jess, who do you have?
I have King Arthur. Just
Yeah.
Because I think King Khan has also really, you've seen that improvement with him. He's really gotten into the swing of things, and I think him and Griffey play off each other so well that I think it's their time.
Well, I'm going for Shazam as well because I want to see them succeed at Spectacular, because they the first time they were Spectacular, they lost TKO to Founding Fathers, and then they lost in the last. They missed their 5-pointer in Spectacular 5, giving Odd Couple the belts.
Right.
So I do want to see them succeed, and also, I also am curious to see what. Oh yeah, we did get that before, Ben.
No, that was an accident. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries.
All right.
I guess you did that just so I don't go on a ramble. So all I'm just gonna say is Shazam will be my pick.
Okay. I think I know everybody here about Griffey versus Marisol.
Marisol. I'm going Marisol.
Griffey. Nothing against Marisol. I would love to see her win it, but I'm saying Griffey still.
There's a lot of deja vu between last year and this year, right? With the hotshot rookie coming in,
Yeah.
with the defending champion. The difference, I think, though, is that Griffey's coming in with his last couple first rounds haven't been great. I think that Marisol, if he makes a mistake, I don't think Marisol, if she capitalizes, is gonna drop anything. So I'm going to go with Marisol. I think it's going to be a pretty close match, though. Like she better make sure she gets her 3-pointer or whatever in round 5. But
also, this will be the first time Griffey has to deal with the speed or the buzzard round.
Ooh,
Marisol has
that should be
double-
something he should be training for.
Marisol has
Yeah.
double experience with that buzzer round, so that gives her an edge.
Yep.
Okay, Thomas versus Nikki in Star Wars.
Thomas, I'm
It's the
sorry.
hardest
I'd love to see Nikki do it, but I just see Thomas taking it out.
Star Wars, I consider a coin flip. Anyways, everybody knows every answer is who's going to miss one fucking question, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think this is the first time either one of them have ever been in front of a crowd. Like, what's going to happen, right?
On
Tom
stage,
Harper
yes.
hasn't been in a live event.
No. No.
He's the one
Harper
with
has
the
not.
belt. Yeah, he's the one with the belt, and yeah, I don't see Nikki winning. I'm going to say Tom Harper.
Ben, who do you have?
I have Thomas.
This one, I'm literally split down the road because I did mention when we talked with Harper, that match there's so much history-making moments in that match. This could be the first time we would see a female Star Wars champion. This could be the first time a female Star Wars champion is crowned. This could either way. We're ending this year in Star Wars with, let's see, Demolanta and Harper. Like 3 times that belt has changed hands. No, 2 times. 2 times the belt has changed hands this year. We are going to see Harper probably become one of the first rookies to win the belt and defend it if that happens. And then, of course, if Nikki wins, she also, and at the same time, both of them are undefeated. So one of them is going to end their season undefeated with the belt. So much history-making moments happening in the Star Wars division.
It'll also be the first time Nikki touches the belt as well, because even when Andrew had it, she didn't touch it.
Oh, yeah. Not like Molly in that
Nope.
skit with Alex Damon.
Another
She
advantage.
literally he's apparently very superstitious, and he believes you shouldn't be touching the belt unless you've won it. And so
Like the Stanley Cup?
and so she has not at any point touched that belt. So that'll be her first time ever touching the belt if she takes that home,
Smart.
which will be incredible to watch.
Yeah.
Another
It would be
advantage she has is that if she wins, Thomas Harper probably still has the return address on the box.
That is true. You know what? I'm gonna lock this in. I'm going to go for Nikki.
Okay.
I truly want to see this season with 2 women holding belts at the end of it.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that would be incredible.
And rounding this out, we have Parker versus KO.
Ooh.
Who do you guys have in this? I think I have Parker.
KO
Yeah.
is 1-1 at Spectacular. He won against Mara at Spectacular 3, lost in the KO to Smets at the
Was not
4th
good against
Spectacular.
him.
So
Was
I
not
know
good.
Mike's definitely going in at Spectacular looking to. I mean, he's already made history. He has made history. He is honestly, I've said he's already been made. He is definitely one of the top 5 best Inner Geekdom players. But this season cemented him as one of the number 1 Inner Geekdom player.
Well,
As much as I love Rachel Cushing, I will defend the Crusher till my dying breath. Mike is definitely at that level to where you can't tear him down.
If Rachel played more, then she'd be at that level.
That's true.
Mike kept playing. He kept playing that. He also played singles. He also played teams. He excelled at every level. I don't see a reason why Mike should lose this match. Even Parker's been playing well. Mike just gets jobs done.
Yes. He is the IG GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the oak. He's the EGOAT. The Inner Geekdom greatest of all time.
Yeah.
How about you, Jess? Who do
Oh,
you
I didn't
have
say
in
who I was
this?
going for. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I will lock this down too. As much as I've kayfabe been anti-corruption, I'm not supporting corruption. I'm supporting the player. So I will go with Mike. I'm sorry, Parker, but I think Mike could pull off something incredible.
I think Ben said it before. It depends on who turns up on the day, whether it's Mike or KO. and
Right.
that's what's going to change it for me, because we've seen him play as KO, we've seen him also play as Mike, and they're very two different kinds of players. So I think it really depends on who shows up at Spectacular for me, is because like we've seen him do both sides of the coin almost. I'd like to see Mike win it, but there is every chance that if Mike doesn't bring his A game, Park is not going to let it slide at all.
And you
That's
know
true.
what? Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be one hell of a spectacular day. Play on words, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. New plugs. Snook, do you have anything to plug?
No, I'm going to, after I'm done this, cry about my fantasy football team, which is doing terribly today. You can see me on assorted Discords. I recommend the LGR Discord. It's been great. Video Drew's Discord is also great. You get to see guys like Ryan show up every once in a while. Other than that, I've been showing up on things like this a little bit more often lately. So you never know. I might show up on something else at some other time.
Okay. Kiwi, how about you? Anything to plug?
Not really. I'm sometimes on something on this show, so generally you'll see me pop up somewhere over the next. Oh, I think we've got spinning, shooting the breeze at some point as well, but that'll be next week, won't it? That we
Yes.
do Spider-Man. But apart from that, no, I'll be around though.
Ryan, my man, how about you? You have anything to plug?
Well, I mean, normally I would be plugging Schmout Schmodown with you and me on Saturdays, but I think we are possibly taking a break in between, like now and Spectacular. But still, go on to
No.
that
I
is
think Mike
completely-
has his position cemented on Rushmore.
Yeah, like I said before, he's clinched. He submitted himself as the IG coach. He's defended the belt twice already. Now, first Intergeekdom player to defend that belt twice. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, that belt was definitely the more hot potato of them. Like whoever won that belt outside of Jason Inman and Hector Navarro before Chanchu did it, never defended it at all.
That's
wow,
a
okay.
good point. That's a
But when
good point.
Chanchu defended it last year, he became the first person. Then Mara took it. Then Mike took it. And he defended it the first time against Chanju, and then he did it again against Amaru. So he could be the first person to defend it 3 times. I think you need to talk about the overall Mount Rushmore of players, because everyone's always been saying it's always like Roca, Dan, sometimes Harloff and Ellis, and then with Rachel in there. I think even general overall, Mike could definitely cinch himself a spot on that overall Mount Rushmore.
100%.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, Saturdays here on the Schmoes of the North Network, Mount Schmodown. Going back and look at our previous episodes this entire year, as Ben and I went from being our own channel to becoming a part of the Schmoes of the North channel. We've had great episodes, some fantastic guests on board. We got 2 new great co-hosts with John Negreggio and Allison Salamone. That's with Allison. She came in and just like quoting the Miley Cyrus song, she came in like a wrecking ball and just brought like a new energy and passion into the show, which I love the most. And then I'm pretty thinking this might be our last Sunday show because there's no new matches coming up. All that's left is Spectacular. But even then, maybe we can do like Ben and I will think of something for maybe a Sunday show. And anybody out there, if you're wrestling fans like myself, I host a wrestling podcast with First Class League competitor, the sinister James Shimo. It is called Wrestling Ramblings and Rages Podcast, where we just, as wrestling fans, we share our passion, we give our thoughts, we talk about wrestling news and wrestling shows. We have 3 brand new episodes already out. One episode is James, myself, and our other host Brenton talking about our experiences, because we went during October. We went on the Chris Jericho Cruise Triple Whammy for 4 days out at sea. So you can find that episode. It's available on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, wherever you get your podcasts. and just listen to James and myself talk about our experience being aboard that cruise. And maybe if you are a wrestling fan, there is another Jericho cruise happening in March. If you do want to experience that, go online to ChrisJerichoCruise.com and learn more about it. And they're not paying me to promote them. I'm just doing it because I love being on that cruise.
You must love it. Yeah, it sounds like a great time.
It is.
And like Ryan said, you can find me on Mount Schmodown on more Saturdays. Get ready. Spinning the breeze. What else? Recapping the past, the Doctor Who show right now, and anything else. Watch the Doctor Who live stream. We were all on it last night.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
you were in the comments. You count.
Yeah, everyone counts on this.
But you
Oh,
were
great
influencing
time.
something. You were influencing some decisions, Snark, with your comments. So yeah.
What I do. That is what I do.
It was a great time to check that out. I think we're all going on break next week, but have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great spectacular. We'll see you in a few weeks. See you soon and have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Gucci.